So we will kick it off. It is 7:02. First, I want to welcome Dan Demo to the board. Dan is taking over for Gene Stinson, who you guys know has left. Dan's resume actually came across my desk from Sherry Dalton, and Dan had applied for a few positions or was interested in a few positions. One was the fence viewing, one was the Arts Council, and the other was the Recreation Department. And looking at Dan's resume, not that I have any say in these matters, but Sherry's like, is this somebody who would fit your board? And I said, well, absolutely. Dan has some recreation experience, a lot of marketing stuff. That's what he does for work. And he's very interested in the arts, which is great because we oversee the Albion Cultural Exchange, which, Dan, honestly, we haven't grown as much as I'd like to. And knowing that arts is a passion of yours, I feel like that's something you can really bring to our board. So I'm excited about
Cool.
that. So
Yeah,
thank you,
that's
thank you for
awesome.
buying.
Yeah. I did my time at a summer camp for like 5 or 6 years throughout high school,
Okay.
college, things like that. So I moved up the ranks there. Really had an awesome time doing that. And yeah, like I said, I work in marketing now. I'm at Wayfair. I do all of our catalogs. So like if you've ever received a Wayfair catalog or piece of marketing, like
Yep.
probably had my hand in it. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I was excited when I saw your stuff come across. It's like this seems like a natural fit, and yeah, welcome to us. And if you ever want to sit down, come to the office and talk face to face, go over the things that we've done and where we're going to go. I'm
Sure.
happy to do that. So,
Cool.
right. Uh, so let's just kind of kick everything off with programmatically. Here's what we are or have going on in our doing. Obviously we are preparing for summer, which is a month away, which is frightening for me, but that's the reality of it. So we have between 40 and 50 individual programs this summer with multiple subsections of almost everything. So we are busy. Um, with certain programs like blacktop basketball, we already have 35 kids registered. Those who want a shirt for the program this year, I made a cutoff deadline. If you want a blacktop basketball shirt, you got to be registered by Saturday. So that's kind of my deadline this year. The kids, it's always boys and girls. It's always boys anyways. So they can go shirt skins or darks lights, whatever they want. My instructor down there, Chris Brown, who's been with me for I think 7 years now. Fantastic. He'll run the show and we'll make that work. We are doing a clinic with Brazilian United Soccer this year. So they are a new company who came to us to teach the Brazilian style of soccer. We only have 18 registered right now, but for a first time program, that's fine. I know that Wakefield Soccer Association struggled for numbers last year. So um, we just might be on a little downward turn, but that's okay. That's something that we'll always pick up. We added a CIT element to our Club Rec this year. So Club Rec is our basic summer day program. We've never done counselor in training. Well, we actually did do counselor in training years ago, but it was more work than it was worth at the time. This year, I actually have a staff member who needs knee surgery. She's a senior in high school, but she needs her knee done, so she can't be as active as she's been in the past. So and she's actually a fantastic counselor. So I said, hey, would you be interested in doing this? Teaching these kids how to become a successful counselor. And she's like, absolutely, let's do this. So we already have 60 kids registered for 6 weeks of CIT program. These are kids who are paying to come. And then we have our volunteers who are kids who kind of been grandfathered with us, been doing it for a while. So we probably have another, 5, 6, 7 per week. So we have about 17 extra set of eyes per week to help us with all the kids. So that's gonna be wildly successful for us. Our
How
Is
old
basic,
it
are those
paid?
folks?
what's that?
How old are they?
So these are kids who are ages grades 7 to 9.
Oh, cool.
Yep,
Awesome.
yep. Our summer day program is K to 5, and then we have
Yep.
I'm sorry, K to 6, and then we have a preschool program that's for ages 2.5 and up, or at least as long as they're potty trained, 2.5 and up. So yeah, we don't change
Cool.
diapers. It's one thing we don't do. We don't do. Jed, you asking something?
I was saying, so these kids are paying to help supervise.
Yep, yep.
That's
And
genius.
this is something that I've done in Reading and I did in Arlington, and it really didn't take off at first. But what we're seeing is a lot of these kids who are registering for this now are kids who have been campers with us for years. And their goal is to become a counselor. I have several of those who have been telling me since they were in the 3rd grade, I can't wait to be a counselor one day. Well, now they're 6th graders or they're going into 7th grade and they want to learn to become a counselor. So the program is finally kicking to where I wanted it to to hopefully breed our own staff, where we have these kids who have been with us since kindergarten. All of a sudden, I'm hiring them in a few years. So that's where we finally moved to, and we're excited about that. For Club Rec itself, we are averaging 54 kids per week right now. That's fantastic for us. That means that we should easily be 80 to 90 per week, which is where we'd like to be. If we're staffed for 130. So if we get anywhere 80 to 90, we're doing great, because I think last year we averaged 78 to 80. So, we want to be in that consistent area. For the last several years, our staff has done extended day programs. So we do the mornings from 7 to 9, and then we offer care from 3 to 5:30. Well, 3 to 5:30 was getting really hard for me to staff this year. So SNL, who has done a ton of programming with me in the past, said, hey, listen, we're doing this in other towns now where we're doing the late days. How do you feel about that? And I said, if you can take the fee that we're currently charging and charge that to me, I'm fine with that. So they're going to do the extended day from 3 to 5:30. I didn't need to staff it. They're going to keep the kids. It's kind of new faces for the kids too, and new games and new energy. So that should go very well. We're excited about that one. Community garden is open. I had a meet and greet with everybody last week. Well, those who wanted to come, I had a meet and greet with. Charlie was there, and because Charlie's Boy Scout troop is going to have one of the gardens that we give away to the nonprofits, and people are excited about it. Things are already starting to pop there, so that's going well. The town did need to do some work down there. Some of the gardens had started to bust at the seams from water damage, or from the tree that came down last year on the gardens, or the year before on the gardens. So one of our town employees, Anthony Inzavino, for the town buildings department, went down there and banged it out, and it looks fantastic. So people are excited about the gardens. Fencing, we have 21 kids registered for fencing. It's always lower for the summer than the school year. So that's not a surprise to us. For Kids Corner, which is the little kids part of camp, we are averaging 11 a week right now. Last year we were at 20. Again, we have another month to go. We're going to get there. We have some Lego programs this summer coming up with Right Brain Curriculum. We've worked with them for the last 5 years. I really like working with them. Their classes are doing well. McDavitt Field Hockey is back. So Tina Matera is the varsity coach at Tufts University, a Wakefield resident. She does our field hockey program for us. She has 35 girls registered already for it, and that's not until August, so that's doing great. We're doing a Ninja Warrior program again this year. We are working with and have worked with this company, Viking Sports, in the past. They were based out of Brookline. One of their staff members started his own franchise in the North Shore. So he reached out to me after not being able to get them last year. He said, hey, we'd love to come back and do it. So they're coming back, and we already have 13 registered for them. We are doing pickleball lessons with some of the teachers from the Dolbear Elementary School. I had one of the teachers reach out and say, hey, I have a bunch of teachers who want to learn how to play the game. Is there any way that you could schedule a lesson for us? I said, sure. So I reached out to one of my pickleball players, said, hey, I know that you're a certified instructor. Would you like to do this? She was all excited to do it. So we have 15 teachers from Dolbear registered for Monday afternoons right now, taking lessons, and they're loving it. And then Jim Fitzgerald, who is a Wakefield resident, all around pickleball guru in my mind, and a great guy, has pickleball lessons going on as well. He does it on Sundays and on Thursday nights, and he has 33 people registered. So Jim's wildly popular with what he does and does a great job. And here's the best part. Jim does this out of the kindness of his heart. He does not get paid for this. He doesn't want to get paid for this. He does it because he loves the sport, and he wants to help advance that in town and to people who want to play. So we're lucky to have him. We will also have SNL All Sports this summer. They will fill in the gaps when my summer camp is not in existence. So before we start, or once we're ending because the kids got to go back to school or sports, whatever it is, SNL comes in. They do a bang up job. Registration right now is very low, but they will average 50 kids a day. So we know that that's just what always happens. They're doing a program for boys lacrosse for us this year. They are also doing girls lacrosse, and they are doing a track program called Rec on the Run. We've done that for many years. Because we don't have a track right now, It is in Reading, so we work with Reading Recreation to host that they'll host us, and then in turn we let them use the lake for fishing classes that they do. So it's kind of a give and a take there. Um, we have our summer safety program that kicks off on June 23rd. We do that in conjunction with the Board of Health and with the police department. We currently have 108 kids registered for that week. Kelly Tobine, who's the school resource officer at the Galvin, is fantastic. Has an awesome week planned. My staff is there as supplemental staff to her. And then we'll have tons of police demonstrations, ton of police officers coming through to help the kids play games, that kind of stuff. So it should be a lot of fun. And that's my favorite program of the year anyways. Warrior Baseball with Coach Canty is going to be happening this summer. He's got 21 registered at the moment. The boys and girls basketball coaches from the high school are doing their clinic again. They currently, for the 2 weeks they have 111 kids registered so far. They'll be well over 200. Warrior Softball with Coach Tolios has 13 right now. Warrior Volleyball with Coach Kayla has 41 for the summer. Spring, she's doing a program for just 7th and 8th graders. She's got 19. We actually could have gone up to probably 30, but she wanted to cap it at a number to keep it manageable, whether it was just her, and give these kids a lot of instruction. We are doing a youth cheer program again. As those of you guys who have been here for a while know, I have a cheerleader, or former now retired cheerleader, who lives in my home. She and her 2 friends, who are now retired as well, from the collegiate cheering ranks, are running a camp program for us, and they've got 50 girls registered right now. We're doing youth photography with Hunts Photography in Melrose. Low numbers right now, but they'll run no matter who we have. We added a youth tumbling program this year to kind of coincide with the cheer program. And again, we have an in-house professional who can help with the tumbling. My admin, Karen, her daughter is going to be a senior at George Washington and is a gymnast there. So Casey is going to have her friend who she grew up with, did gymnastics with, who is at Ithaca University now as a diver. Instead of gymnastics, they're going to come run a tumbling clinic for us. They're full. We maxed out at 30 kids already for them. And we are adding more programs by the day. We're adding a T-ball program that we're doing today, that we started today, that we're doing with the AD of actually Danvers High School. He lives in Wakefield. His son is a T-baller, 3 years old. And he said selfishly he wants to have his son continue playing. So we're doing a T-ball program this summer, and he's going to run it for us. We are doing a young entrepreneur program for kids in grades 6 to 10 with a couple students from BU who do this in multiple communities. And then we're adding some more STEAM programs. So we are busy, and excited about what's coming up. So any questions about summer stuff? Because I just threw a ton at you. Nothing? All right. So moving on to stuff at the AmeriCal and at the Albion Culture Exchange. So coming up first, this coming Sunday, we have Steve Mayo's retirement party. Steve Mayo, our great town administrator, is retiring on July 3rd, but we're having a community event on June 1st. I think it's at noon. I will be there. I am very much involved in this since it's at our building, and I want to make sure that we are well represented there. So anybody who wants to come is obviously invited. It is a public event. But it's that's Sunday. That'll be a lot of fun. It's gonna be bittersweet for me because Steve's the best boss I've ever had, and I don't know how we could possibly replace him, but somebody's gonna have some big shoes to fill. Then next Tuesday we are hosting the 8th grade dance. We are actually looking forward to it this year. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. We have a new staff at the Civic Center, so custodians have changed kind of buildings, several of them. So Nick, who was previously at Town Hall, is now with me at the Civic Center. Christina, who was at the Civic Center, is now at Town Hall. Gus, who's filled in for us, but he was permanently at the police station, is now over at the Senior Center. And then there's a young guy named Jack, who's a great kid, super hard worker. He's over at the police station. This was to do a lot more cross-training, let everybody know what goes on in each building. but also kind of just to change dynamics places. So we're thrilled to have Nick. Nick's excited about having the dance. He knows what to expect, and he's such an easygoing guy that I don't anticipate any problems. The Galvin sends over their principal, assistant principals, teachers, parents. We're going to have ex custodial staff on, so this should go swimmingly. And honestly, it's probably the first time I haven't had anxiety about it because I know that we're in a good position. Um, and then, so if you haven't visited the Civic Center recently, we had the floors refinished on the first floor, the main floor, and they look absolutely incredible. The gym got a buff and shine. It looks like it's brand new. The hallway and the heritage room got stripped and refinished. They used to be like a real, darkish mapley color. Now they're a lighter white color, and they look really good. It looks sharp. It's much brighter in there, so we're happy about that. And then the lower level, they finished the epoxy finish on the entire floor. So no more, guys from the facilities need to come over and shut it down for a couple days and painting it. This should last us a very long time. So we're excited about all that work, and it makes a huge difference. And none more so than the heritage room because that needed it. I don't think since I've been there in 7 or 8 years, that floor has never been touched. So to have this look the way it is now is great. We're going to have it on a program where every 2 to 3 years, we're getting those things buffed and shined, especially with the amount of use that we get. I'd like to do it more, but sometimes that becomes cost prohibitive. So it will be 2 to 3 years that we'll be doing it. And the staff's doing a great job of using a machine every day to keep that thing nice and the gym, you want to have a nice little stick to the floor. It has a nice stick to it. You're not just sliding across. So he's doing a great job keeping up with it. We have some AAU basketball groups who are coming in to rent the gym on Wednesday and Thursdays through July. They're taking the 6 to 8 p.m. blocks that I had wide open. We're happy to do it. We charge them the out-of-town rate of $100 an hour. These AAU programs can certainly afford that, considering what they charge their participants to play in these things. So it's a great rental for us. And then at the ACE building, Albion Culture Exchange, we will be very busy this summer. I have scheduled a ton of programs there. And we actually have one art show that we're doing. Typically, we don't do any of that stuff during the summer, but two of my summer staff one from last year who has now moved on. He's graduated from UMass Lowell with his master's degree. Andrew Russell, and our other staff who's currently working with us, Yana Herzog, two amazing kids, two amazing artists, want to do their own show. So they're going to do their own show on June 6th and June 7th. And I'm going to go down there at least one of those days to support them because they're two wonderful kids. And then Yana at the end of the summer will take all of the kids' artwork from our summer program and do an art show for the kids and the parents. We did that last year and it was awesome. And we're going to do that again. So that's kind of what's going on at the buildings. Any questions about that stuff? No. Okay. And then finally, fields. Fields, as you can expect, have been crazy this spring. With the amount of rain, it has been a challenge to say the least. But they're busy. They're full. Leagues are actually getting through their play, wrapping up relatively soon within the next couple of weeks. So things are going fine. I've already started working on fall, working with youth football, working with youth soccer, working with the high school to make sure everybody gets what they need. Youth football, I have gotten them 1 day a week at Galvin Fields for 2 hours, and then they will be at Landrigan for 2 days a week. In the past, like last year, they were going out of town. They were paying huge money to go to Danvers Indoor Sports for practices. And they reached out to me and said, I had no idea of this. I said, hey, is there any way that we can get, a field in Wakefield for 2 hours? I'm like, well, why? Well, we really have more teams and we need more time. I said, okay, tell me what's going on. Well, last year we were paying huge money at Danvers Indoor Sports to go there. And, our kids who are Wakefield kids aren't getting on fields. I'm like, oh, we can fix that. So I went to soccer. I said, hey guys, in the spring, we're able to work it out where we have lacrosse and soccer sharing fields. For the fall, we really need to take just 2 hours, 6 to 8 p.m. I don't care what day of the week it is, to get these football kids on a field in Wakefield too. And they were more than amenable to it. So they still have a ton of time themselves, but we need to take care of everybody. And so that was my goal. So we're able to do that. Target Soccer Academy, who we've worked with for the past 10 years. So Target Soccer Academy is made up of the high school coaches from Wakefield, Reading, Stoneham, and I think Linfield. I forget the fourth town. They come to us every year. They rent one of the Galvin fields, and they'll do one clinic that will go on Mondays and Wednesdays for girls high school, one on Tuesdays, Thursdays for boys high school. They'll do that for the month of June and July, and then they come back again in September. I'm sorry, in August, before like double sessions would start for the kids, and they'll do one intense week of training for the kids for 2 hours a night. So that's always a good check that they send us at the end of the year. It goes very well. Men and women's softball have begun. Pickleball at Vets, as I think we mentioned last time, even though we didn't have our meeting, we just kind of discussed some stuff. So I changed the way that we are doing play down there. For years, we have used Play Local to reserve the courts. And what we found was there was some people who really knew how to play the system very well. They weren't doing anything wrong, but they knew the system really well. So they would go and reserve the courts, monopolize it, which really was unfair to the other people who want to play. And everybody wants to play, but so they really kind of hamstrung everything. So what we did was we took the ability to reserve courts off, not totally though. So from 8 a.m. to 12 noon daily, it's daily drop-in pickleball. We have a paddle system down there. People go put their paddle on the rack, and when the paddles move up, and when your paddle gets to the beginning, now it's your time to go play. If you want to play with your friends, you might need to put your paddles in succession to make sure that you guys can all stick together. Otherwise, you're going to be all over the place. The goal is to be able to play and actually meet new people anyways. That's the kind of the essence of the sport. It's a very social game. But people can play with their friends if they want. From 12 to 4, you can reserve time. You can reserve the time to play with just your group, so you can get just your court for 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. And then from 4 to dark, because who knows, right now people could still be out there playing with ease. We're back to the paddle system where it's an open play setting. I have not heard one single thing negative about this yet. I have gotten actually several phone calls saying, thank you for doing this. We were not able to get to play after work because the courts were already reserved. Now I know I can go down there, I can get a game and actually talk to some people and have some fun. So it's working out so far. At the end of this season, meaning, November-ish, we'll evaluate it. I'll send everything out to the pickleball conglomerate that I have, because I have a large network of people who play with us. So I have their email addresses, and ask for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Give me the feedback, and we'll make adjustments based off of it. But so far, so good, and I'm excited about that. Any questions about fields?
So what's the scoop on the Maple Way pickleball courts?
I just gotta talk to Dennis and see if I can just get them. If we can just get them lined, be easy.
Just right on the basketball court that's there now.
Oh, so not that. So no, I want to take the current tennis court that's there,
Okay.
and actually just have some lines put down there, and I have some portable nets that we can drop down there. I'm waiting for the Molten playground or the Molten tennis court project to happen first. I don't know when that's happening. I've seen the schematics. I see what it's going to look like. I'm waiting for that to happen first. Once that is done, then I'm going to engineering and saying, hey, now I want to talk about this project.
Okay.
So I don't want to inundate and overwhelm people. I want to get things done one at a time, as opposed to something falling by the wayside. Because as I think those of you who have been here for a while know, years ago, and I'm thinking it was right after COVID, I can't even remember that far back at this point, there was talk about making the the Molten tennis court into a street hockey area. I reached out to the Boston Bruins Foundation and actually got them to respond to me, which was, I just literally was throwing something against the wall and seeing what stuck. And they actually got back to me and said, yeah, we'd love to come out and check out your project and see how we can get involved. They came out, they didn't commit to anything, but the town was supposed to get back to them with some information as to what we were looking at a cost to do this. And, maybe they could contribute something. That was my part of it. After that, it went to others, and it went nowhere. So I know now that there is a plan to turn the tennis courts at Moulton half of it into a small street hockey court and the other half into a basketball court, which is great. We're also talking about putting some sort of net system in there where the on the street hockey side, it could be used for futsal or it could be used for lacrosse. These are some things that we talked, like box cross. These are some things that we talked about. And then there was going to be bocce courts as well and some more pathways. The last I heard about this was probably September. I want to make sure that goes through first before I bring up pickleball courts at Mapleway. I've discussed it. I've mentioned it that that's my next step, but I want to get one project before we get the other one. So
Wait,
it'll happen in my tenure here. Promise you that, because I'm not going anywhere.
so where is this in Moulton? The
So the old tennis courts at Moulton, right by the West Side Social Club.
where it's just like the street
Yeah,
hockey
where it's
area.
just
So
I wanted to rehab that for a very long time.
yeah. So what's going in there?
We're gonna have half of the court will be street hockey, the other half will be basketball court, and then where the basketball court is in the back will become bocce.
Okay.
Yep. And that's something that actually the senior center had asked for, bocce pits, and we said sure we can do that. And the town's going to do that themselves. The parks department, they feel very comfortable doing that. Dennis Fazio, our parks director, our parks foreman, is the best I've ever worked with. And I've worked in 3 communities, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we can do this." And of course, Dennis likes to say, I'm Italian, so I can, I know everything about bocce, so he's ready to roll with it. And those guys who know Dennis knows that he's willing and able, so we're lucky to have him too. So I don't know when that project's going to take place. I'm hoping it's soon because I'm kind of tired of looking at that blighted site, and I think that there's so much potential there. And I know that street hockey is played there, so let's give the kids who want to play it at least a nice area to play it on. It doesn't need to be,
Yeah,
ED Garden, but it needs to be something functional and something nice looking for the kids.
correct. I was surprised that you were calling it the tennis court project
Yeah.
because I had no it's just it's
Yeah, I
not a
can,
tennis court. So
yeah, not anymore, but yeah,
no.
there used to be
Okay.
you can see where the stanchions used to be for the tennis nets. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that
Okay.
would be a full rehab. We'd have to take out all of the fencing. We'd have to take out all of the base level there and really build it back up. So that'd be a full demo. And at one time, Michelle, just to kind of go even further, we were talking about doing a board system there, and we were talking about going to the to the nines there,
Yeah.
and the cost was about $1 million. It was like
Gotcha.
$400,000 just for the board system. We're not doing that, but I want to give the kids just a good place to play, and that's what that's the goal now. So, yeah.
Okay.
Any questions about fields? Nothing. Okay. That's all I got. Anybody got anything for me? Bob, did I send you your permit yet? You're on mute. You're still on mute.
I don't know. You usually send it out pretty early.
Yeah, I'll double check.
So I might have received it in January and forgotten about it.
Okay. I want to make sure that you have it.
I'll double check.
And then you're good with the other towns that you're working in?
Yep. I think because of the uncertainty of the high school field,
Yeah.
I may be looking for to have a backup field in Linfield.
Okay.
I think we're going to use the high school field in Reading again. That
Yep.
worked out well.
Yep.
Jim was awesome. So
Good.
great group of people over there, and
they have that secondary field too.
yeah, they have what like 3 fields, I think.
Well, they do, but I truly think, like, for your purposes, especially if it's older high school girls, not knowing exactly what your age level is,
Yeah.
You would only use the main field and the street field.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So that's looking good. That's looking promising.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you need anything, let me know.
And you and I had been talking about the area at Maple Way that the town got by eminent domain about using it and stuff.
Yep.
I found out since then we're looking at it kind of closely, and it looks like that ship has sailed.
I think so too.
So they've planted trees in there
Yeah.
to make up for the trees that they took out for the
Right.
energy park or something. So
Yeah. Okay.
So that's good. I mean, that's done.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else
Cool.
have anything?
Thank you.
Wanted to check in about the lights. I know that I think it was last time or the time before we were getting a status update about some of the lights getting switched to the remote.
Yeah.
and,
So
like, how's up with that?
So that's still nowhere. Just and again, it's a price issue. Yeah, because I want to change the lights that are at Vetsfield. I think they are long overdue for an upgrade. Though in defense of the people who take care of them for us, they do a tremendous job. Gas and light department replaces bulbs constantly. If there's a light at a project that they can take down and add to us, they do it. They do it for nothing. Like they're doing a great job. I just think it's time to put in a better system. And I will always go back to that is our med flight location. And it'd be a lot easier for somebody to be able to hop on a phone and push a button than to call around Kingdom Come to find out how to turn on the lights. That's my take on it.
I'm there now, Dan.
What's that?
You can see the meta plant right now.
Oh, seriously? So yeah,
I'm there now.
I just love to have the upgrade. And that's me being selfish. Of course, then I can tie into the pickleball courts and have those turn on too. But I think the last number I had was $250,000 for the system, and then another 200 for the install. And that's just what I'm thinking it was. I passed those numbers on to higher ups a long time ago for ARPA money, and I think that got cut. So I don't think, and I know it got cut. So
Hey, Dan, were those lights, did they, not to ask a stupid question, did that include the poles?
that would include the polls. Yes, yeah, they would
Because
have to do the polls.
I'm working at Stoneham High School right now, and they're doing the fields.
Yep.
And there's a lot to the poles. I mean, I
Yeah.
was thinking if there's an alternative to replace the lights using the existing poles, we could maybe save it.
Right, and there's probably other systems that we could explore. I like Musco because all our other lights are Musco. That's who we use for the football field. That's who we use for the Galvin basketball courts. That's who we use for the Galvin soccer fields. It's nice to have one place to go for everything.
Oh yeah.
But that's something that we'll probably have to go down the road and explore.
Yeah. No, I was amazed at how much just basically the foundations for those things, how large they are.
Oh yeah. And their systems, Musco itself is pricey because of all that goes into it. Last year, I forget what a breaker went down at Landrigan, and I forget exactly what it was, but it was a pretty decent number to get it fixed. And the high school and the recreation department split that cost. I don't know that I necessarily needed to split the cost, but I wanted to get it done. So it's kind of like, let's get this done quickly, and we all benefit from it. So I think that was to the tune of $8,000 that we had to do to get that repair done there. But they send technicians who come out and they're dedicated to us, and they're there for a few days, and you're paying for their overnight stays, you're paying for their travel, you're paying for their food. It was a lot to it. So yeah. So that's kind of where we are with the lights. Again, hopefully that's something that we can get done during my tenure, because I got 11 years left. So let's get some of these things done. Not that I'm counting any of it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? No. All right, Mr. Chairman.
You make this easy, Dan. Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
All right,
Thank
thanks
you,
all.
Dan.
So just so everybody knows, I'm going to try to schedule one more meeting in June. I gotta kind of see how June comes at me. June comes at us really fast. So next week, Karen, my admin, is out. She's going to Italy with her son and her brother. Her son's graduating from high school on Thursday. I'm sorry, on Friday from North Andover High. So Karen's brother is taking them to Italy for the week, which is great. And then so I have her out for the week, so that creates chaos for me. And then the next week we're good. And then the next week she has to take her son to Penn State because that's where he's going for school next year for freshman orientation. So she's gone for a few days that week. We have Juneteenth going on where we're off. I have camp staff training, and then we start camp. So if I can fit us in the last week of June, I will absolutely do so. If not, you will hear from me at the end of August when I've kind of recharged the battery a little bit. But my door is always open. You know, Jed knows that. He pops in. Charlie's popped in before. Rich has popped in before. Bob calls me every now and then. Please come by. Come see what we're doing, especially, you know, Michelle and Dan, since kind of your first go-arounds with us. Come see what we do. I love to show off the programs that we have because I think we do a really good job. I think I have the best kids in Wakefield working for me, and I truly mean that. Let me show you what you're representing, and hopefully I can make you guys proud as I've tried to do for these guys for the last 10 years. So, all right, all.
Keep up the good work, Dan.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.
I know.
Have a great
you.
night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
See you soon.